Hey, this is Corey from Woodcraft, and here in Minnesota the temperatures can get quite cold. It's freezing out here today, but I wanted to discuss different boot options. Here are my two favorite right here, and so I want to tell you the pros and cons of each one, and why I can't pick only one to be my favorite. Both of these are, but I'll tell you right now that the Keen hiking boots I'm wearing right now are not warm enough for these temperatures. So let's get inside and we'll compare these, and I'll show you the pros and cons of each. So stay tuned. Alright, so if you were just paying attention, you could see the moisture of my breath was freezing instantly. As I was talking to you guys, you could see the white build up on my whiskers because the moisture in my breath was freezing the second it left my mouth. And so here in Minnesota, these Minnesota winters, it can get brutal. Today it's sunny and nice out, and it's still, I think, negative 17 degrees, and it's getting colder as the day goes on. So it's important that you have the proper gear, not to get warm, but to stay warm in the first place. And I think for most people, having cold feet is the number one issue. Most people, you know, their hands and their feet are the first to get cold. And so one of the ways that I combat not getting cold feet is by having a good pair of boots. So here I have my two favorite pairs of boots. I have the Muck Arctic Sports, which is one of the most recommended boot for anybody that is outdoors in the winter. This is a very safe recommendation. And then here I have the Sorel made in Canada. These are more like a snowmobile or a snow machine type boot. But I like both of them. I can't choose one over the other. I can't say that one is warmer than the other. They're both very warm, but they're very different. And so I want to show you guys some of the options that these boots have. Starting with the Muck boot. These are extremely warm. I love these boots. They're very waterproof. They're easy to use. There's no lacing or anything. You just slip them on, slip them off, and you're good to go. There's no liner on the inside. They are what they are. And like I said, they're extremely waterproof. And the weight of this boot is only 1 ounce lighter than this boot, but because it's distributed across the whole entire boot, it feels a lot lighter on your feet. It doesn't feel as clunky and heavy as some of the other boots. So they're a lot easier to hike in and walk distances in. But the thing is if your feet get sweaty and the inside of these gets wet, I have no idea how long it would take to dry out the inside of these boots. When I wear these boots, I'm very cautious to make sure that the inside does not get wet, because I can't imagine how long it would take for the inside of these to dry out. And so that's why I like the Sorel boots as well. Now these are 1 ounce heavier, but these outside here is made out of fabric. It's like a Cordura type fabric, and all the weight, the rubber comes up to here, and this is where all the weight is. All the weight is at the bottom of your foot, and so they're kind of clunky and they feel real heavy, and so these aren't fun to travel long distances in. Because your legs get tired from having to pick up all the weight on the bottom of these. But they do offer lacing, so there's lacing here, and it's just a, let's see if I can get you to see it. It's just a, so it's got laces, and then it's just a cord lock that you can just pinch and move. And so it's big enough to where I can do it with my gloves on too. Same with up here, there's another one up here. So you can cinch the top around your leg and keep the snow and stuff out. And so, I don't know, I don't ever use this bottom one. I just I set it to where I need it, and then I tuck the excess underneath the lacing, and I just slip them on and off. There are some times I do use this top and I cinch it around my leg, but usually if the snow gets on here, your body heat melts it and it seeps in anyway. But it does help a little bit. But the biggest thing that I like about these boots is they do come with a liner. And this liner, it's a wool liner. And so if your boots get wet and the inside gets wet, I can take this liner out, and it's a wool liner, so it's flame resistant. It's mildly flame resistant. You don't have to worry about sparks or embers falling on this material. So you can put it by the fire and you can dry it out. You can warm it up, and it'll dry out, and it'll dry off and warm up pretty quickly. And so it's a very warm option. Another thing you can do with these is these are going to get wet and muddy and gross, but you can take the liner out, and I've used these as like, I guess you could say slippers. I'd use them as slippers inside my shelter, and so it's just another way of keeping your foot warm. If your sleeping bag was big enough, mine's not, my foot box is too small, but you could sleep with these on, and it's just an extra layer of wool to help keep your feet warm. And so there's a lot of options that come with this boot, but like I said, it's not as waterproof as the Muck boots, and so you do have to worry about the deep snow and the slush soaking through the fabric and getting your liners wet. So no matter how careful you are, if the conditions aren't right, your liners are going to get wet. Where with the Muck boot, if you're careful and you don't get hot, sweaty feet, you can keep the inside of these dry pretty easily. So that's the pros and the cons. The pros is you have a lot more options with this boot because you have the removable wool liner, where this, it just is what it is, but it's going to keep you a lot drier. And a dry, warm foot is a lot more comfortable and a lot warmer than a wet, warm foot, right? A sweaty foot is usually a cold foot. And so I can't pick one over the other. Usually if I'm hiking over distances, if I'm going to be doing a lot of walking or moving through slush and different conditions that are wet, I like to have my Muck boots. I like knowing that no matter how slushy it is, if the water seeps through the ice, you know, I'm gonna be dry. I don't have to worry about the weather conditions to keep my foot dry. I just have to worry about how hot I'm getting on the inside. Plus, they feel a lot lighter on your foot, and so I can travel a lot farther, and I don't get as tired as I do with these. But if I'm gonna be like, I wear these when I shovel the driveway, because usually I get hot and sweaty, my feet get hot and sweaty, and I don't worry about it. You know, I just finish the driveway and I take the liner out and I let it dry. If I'm gonna be sitting around camp, you know, and I'm not gonna be traveling through anything, I like having these because they're warm and I have the option of removing that liner. So these are a good sit around boot, and if you're gonna get hot and sweaty, you know, it's really nice to just throw these on, take the liner out and let them dry. You don't really have to worry too much about that either. And so I can't pick one over the other. I need both. Depending on what I'm doing, I need either the Muck boot or the Sorel. But I want to know in that comment section, which one do you prefer? Do you like the Muck boot, the waterproof, keeping the elements away from your feet? Or do you like the versatility and the options that the Sorel has with that liner on the inside? Make sure to leave your knowledge and any questions in that comment section below. Then make sure to like and share this video to help spread that knowledge and those ideas to the people we care about most. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and come join the pack. I have a new video every Sunday and Thursday, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.